Okay, Shalom, Shalom, Kwam Yasha'Allah, Koholima Yahweh, H.I.M, H.I.M, Dash, and double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rebel and that by the Spirit taught us this beautiful truth. Just want to say the waters of the H.I.M and Ahwah. That's how he's sincerely keeping the laws, the statutes, and commandments of Yahweh by H.I.M to the best of their ability. This is H.I.M on the walk. Just coming at you with another quick lesson. Praying that it's edifying by the Spirit. And copyright disclaimer, I want to play a quick video. Copyright disclaimer under this section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. I want to play this quick video right here. I'm not going to play it, as far as all the way through. It's a lot here for the wind that you hear in the backdrop. It's a big industrial fans. I'm in the gym on the treadmill, and I was kind of, I seen this, just wanted to strike while the iron is hot, but let me just back up just a little bit. I didn't want to actually get it. But you know what? The shit is on YouTube. You might as well just play it, I think. So let's just play the video. So as you can see, it's a traffic stop, right? So Florida police Dashcam shows cop agonizing plea at the drunk so-called white woman slammed into car, handcuffed black man reacts unexpectedly. So as you can see, white woman, black man, they're trying to, a lot of these stories, they make it racist, you know what I'm saying, when they throw those titles like that, because it actually is clickbait. It gets a lot of views, and but also we have to realize too that it's by the Spirit and power of Yahweh by H.I.M outside that the Lord is creating this separation and division amongst the people on the planet, and especially Esau and Jacob, So let's just play the video real quick. He got crunched pretty good. You know what I'm saying? But he's screaming his ass off. But I'm gonna go into the comments. The reason why I want to do the the video is because of the way that people reacting in the comments about why does it have to be entitled black and white like that? Because it's really the Lord, man. The Lord is focusing on Esau. The Lord got Scopeo on Esau, Edom. That's the so-called, that's the biblical name for the so-called white race. He's got the microscope on him. He's got the lights on him. He's got his skirt lifted up. He's showing the crimes of Esau these days. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 3, it goes over to the man of sin, the son of perdition being revealed in the last days. That's how you know that we're in the last days, because he's constantly being revealed. So let's just play the video. Okay, so a couple of details. Jake in handcuffs, right? You see Jake, he runs off in the backdrop. He just gets the fuck away from the car. You can't blame him. So he's handcuffed. He come running back up asking to try and see if the officer is okay. Now, I'm not sure if this officer is a so-called black or a so-called white man or whatever, you know, he could be an Edomite. But at the same time, too, man's goings of the Lord. So let me first off grab that, because he could have, you know, see, Esau, what he does is he pulls Jake over, and he'll spring something like that on you. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, you have a warrant for your arrest. Okay, so we don't know if he actually did or not. He could have, but we know that that's a tactic that Esau will use. You know what I'm saying? To pull Jake over, and then, you know, as you can see, he was like, "Oh, we'll get to that." You know, he wanted to call his mom. Of course, of course, he's not mentioning calling his dad. You know, that's Jake. You know, they call their fucking mama. You know, but if the police officer was bullshitting and the man really didn't have a warrant, then that was judgment on his ass. You know, and it's still judgment anyway, because as you know, going on through the story, when I was reading through it, you know, he had to have his leg amputated. He had to go through, you know, of course, you get your leg amputated, you get that prosthetic. You got to learn how to walk again. You got to learn how to walk on that shit. He actually came back, you know what I'm saying, after time, and you know, he came back on the force. Now, I'm not sure exactly what duties he's doing exactly, but this is Proverbs 20 and 24. It says, "Man's goings of the Lord. How can a man then understand his own way?" So it was set up for him to be there to actually do that, particularly stop that lady, to be right there on time, because she was on her alcohol level. From what they said when they tested her, it was through the roof, and you could clearly see she jumped out. Now, did they handcuff her? No, they ain't handcuff her. She was just like, "Oh, do what you want," because she knew she was fucked. She had them fucked up. And actually, when I seen in the comment board as well, that, you know, well, they was talking about how it took, he had them went through all the process of getting his leg amputated, getting the prosthetic leg, and all this other shit, and this bitch still wasn't charged with nothing, basically. You know, so that's Psalm 73 and 3. Well, let me start at verse 3. It says, "For I was envious at the foolish when I saw the prosperity of the wicked. For there are no bands in their debt, but their strength is firm. They are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men." Because they should have threw handcuffs on her immediately. You're damn dangerous. You know? How you not seeing those squad car lights? That's how drunk she was. And it's a good thing she wasn't going that fast. I don't know if she thought that she was, who fucking knows. But had she been doing 30, 40, 50 miles an hour, he would have been fucked. But he lost one leg, you know what I'm saying, of course. And then, you know, Jake, of course, you know, Jake got that Stockholm syndrome. He's immediately running up with his hands behind his back, if you notice, asking, was a police officer all right? So you go into the comment boards, of course, you know, you got people in there, you know, they should give him basically, I don't know, you know, somewhat to the standpoint of him being a good citizen, you know, hopefully it'll get him some time off of whatever it was that he done, which he probably didn't even have an arrest warrant, you know. So the cops being dirty, if that was the case, but still in the same, ain't no telling what that officer had done. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, you got these police officers. When you go into Romans 13, these police officers are the ministers of the Lord. And when they doing wicked out here, you know, and a lot of them, when they get gunned down or they get ambushed or they die chasing somebody or whatever the case may be, you know what I'm saying? That's judgment from the Lord, because they're supposed to be ministers of Yahweh by Shemel. And if they abuse that particular position, then the Lord deals with them more harshly, so to speak. But this is Romans 13. You start at verse 1. And it says, "Be subject to government. Let every soul be subject unto the higher powers. For there is no power but of Yahweh. The powers that be are obtained, are ordained by Yahweh." So all these things are ordained by Yahweh by Shemel when it comes to these police officers. So you have to keep that in mind. So when it comes to, you know, these police, and they're out here, they're doing what they're doing, they're supposed to do it in a righteous way, or, you know, but of course we know that we're in Esau Edom's kingdom, so it generally doesn't go that way, you know. Not to say all of them are super wicked, but if they don't believe in Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, they wicked anyway. Okay, but verse 2, whosoever therefore resisted the power, which, the young man, he done the right thing. He didn't resist. He didn't do anything. He got right out, put his hands behind his back. He done what the officers told him what to do. Agree with your adversary quickly. That's something that the apostles go into all the time. Whosoever therefore resisteth the power, resisteth the ordinance of God, and they that resist shall receive to themselves damnation. Even with the woman, she didn't resist, even though she fucked up. And then they, actually they fucked up his car. You could see the guy, he had a dent in the back of his shit. But it was a good thing she wasn't like blowing like through, like she wasn't going super fast. Verse 3, it says, for rulers are not of terror to good works, but to the evil. Wilt thou then not be afraid of the power? Do that which is good, and thou shalt have praise of the same. So you're not supposed to, you're supposed to be, you're supposed to be afraid of this power, so to speak, because the Lord set him up. He ain't set him up with that gun for nothing, because they'll gun your ass down. It says, for he is the minister of Yahweh for thee for good. But if thou do that which is evil, be afraid, for he beareth not the sword in vain. For he is the minister of Yahweh, a revenger to execute wrath upon him that doeth evil. Yeah, right? Wherefore ye must needs be subject, not only for wrath, but also for conscience sake. So, you want to obey, not only because they'll tear your ass apart, but, for conscience sake, you know what I'm saying? You want to, just do what they say to do, go ahead and go through the process, agree with your adversary quickly, and all that fighting and fun, because they're not going to let you go. You know what I'm saying? It's not like you resist and all of a sudden, you just get to just go. Even if you run, you know what I'm saying, they're going to get behind your ass and call every squad car in the city to come run your ass down. So, let me just go into one or two of these comments that I was talking about, and we'll end out, because like I said, I'm at the gym. I just wanted to just stop to the side real quick and just do this real quick. Strike while the iron is hot. Yeah, he got fucked up though. He was a pretty big boy too. He wasn't like no little dude. Had he been, matter of fact, had he weighed another 40 pounds less or 50 pounds less, he probably would have had his leg taken off right there on the spot, or both of them. Okay, so this very first person at the top commenter, why is race even mentioned? See? Because the Lord is mentioning race. The Lord is bringing forth all this race stuff, man. And he's going to continue to amp it up, Really, we know it's Esau, but the Lord is going to, he's going to amp it up, though. You know what I'm saying? So, somebody says, exactly. Somebody else responded, thank you, my friend. Today in America, everyone is not racist. But what's going on today in America is turning one America against the next American, all in the name of racism. Shame on us, on the U.S. America. Well, you so-called white people, y'all started that, man, when you came up with these social constructs called white and black. And then, of course, it's been going on since the beginning of the slavery, man. You know what I'm saying? You're the ones that's been pushing. You're the hierarchy, and you're superior, and that we should just be bowing to your fucking ass. So you started it, and then somebody responds, you know why, right? Okay, so it goes on to say, it says, you should ask yourself, would this article say black woman if the woman was black? And of course, probably it wouldn't have. Depends, but I mean, it is what it is on that, man. So let me just grab one more script, because I'm at the gym again. I'm trying to go under the radar here, but I'll just grab one more to be on out. Get back to the workout, get ready for the Shabbat coming in later on today. But this is on Matthew 12, 25. And again, excuse me for the fans that you're hearing here. They keeping the spot cool. Matthew 12 and 25, it says, and Yahushua knew their thoughts, and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation. In every city, your house divided against itself shall not stand. And if Satan casts out Satan, he is divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom stand? And the Lord is actually separating Esau and Jacob, like how he done from the womb. They were scrapping in the womb, you know what I'm saying? pretty much it's been an ongoing fight, so to speak, or there have been rivals for all these thousands of years. But the Lord is basically extending the hand of repentance to you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you Israelites, and telling you to basically get away from your enemy, because you're not supposed to trust these people, but you have placed your full trust in Esau. You trust in everything that he says. You trust in his medicines. You go take his goddamn Theraflu. You'll take his NyQuil. You'll go and, and let him take your damn blood. You trust him to the point of, you trust him far more than you trust Yahweh H.I.M. That Isaiah 31:1, those that go down to Egypt for help, man, woe. It talks about judgment or woe. They go, to those that go down to Egypt for help. And America is spiritually Egypt. So you're going to get judgment for following this man. The scripture says, though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not go unpunished. These people are not going unpunished for what they've done to you, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, the apple of the Lord's eye, you Israelites. They're going to pay for what they've done. So, you see a lot of that these days, in the comment boards. I've been noticing that. But of course, with most of these articles, when you scroll through Newsbreak, you're going to come across a few articles a day where it's something about so-called blacks or so-called whites or somebody against somebody. Like even with this Nolan Wells shit that's going on, the guy down in Mississippi, And people, when you look at the comment boards, these Edomites, they go hard. They go hard, man, on talking shit about you, Jake, man. They don't have no remorse for you. They don't have no sympathy or empathy for you. So you had to beware. The Lord said to never trust thine enemy. But like his iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. You should stay away from him as much as you possibly can. You got to go to work, of course. You go and do your job, and you bid them a farewell. You go into your house, man. All that them inviting you places and you showing up, nah. You don't let them invite you to a place where it's mostly them, and it's only you. Get the hell out of here. You don't go camping with them. You don't go fishing with them. You don't go to no bar, meeting them at no damn bars after work. Going out for lunch for that matter, even on lunch break at work. Nah, I'm good. I'm going to sit here and have my damn sandwich. Shit, drink my water. And I'm going to get back to work, get my shift over. Y'all go ahead, have fun. You gotta be circumspect. The scripture talks about being circumspect, which I can end out with that. Ephesians 5:15. Yeah, we're living in serious times right now. The Lord is turning up these spirits, man, of hatred. That real hatred that Esau has for you. The Lord is about to show you what it really is. He's warning you. These are the warnings that's going out. He's showing you. Well, see, when these people get full-fledged let loose, because the Lord gonna let them loose, they're gonna be like, matter of fact, the scripture talks about wild men sparing none. They're not gonna spare anybody. They don't spare babies. They don't spare the elderly. They hate all of you, and they would do all of you all kinds of dirty. That's their track record. So Ephesians 5:15, see then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time because the days are evil. So that's what's up, man. This is the time that we're in. Walk circumspectly, not as fools. Look around, pay attention, And that goes for just about anybody these days, but especially Esau. But you got to be careful even around your own people, because our people have been around them for so long that they're savages towards each other. They've learned that savagery from these people, and they're savages towards each other. So you got to watch yourself, man. So I'm going to end out there. I pray that the lesson was edifying. With that, Kwame Yasha'Allah. Also, again, the Shabbat is coming in tonight, or evening. It's Monday sundown and Tuesday sundown for this month. So with that, Shalom.